artistic achievements and salute your willing committed to truth, my dear sister. And the condition of truth is orientation, no matter what religious or non-religious identity, no matter what national affiliation. It's a profoundly human thing. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the domination and oppression we must resist.
Must.
No matter what those structures are, we got to keep track of the humanity of people. But most importantly, we never allow the oppression to have the last word. Sometimes all you can do is sing a song. Sometimes all you can do is crack a smile or crack a joke. Other times you hit the street, go to jail, you demonstrate. Other times you sustain organizational capacity, bring power and pressure to bear on status quo. But it's fundamentally about the truth tied to justice, and justice is what love looks like in public. So it's very much a love affair. It's compassion. You have a care and a concern for people who are, in the language of Malcolm X, catching hell, no matter who they are.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. I feel like that's deeply my politic, in that, like, people always ask me, like, why do you care about this stuff? Why do you care about this? Why do you care about that? And they isolate things about that I care about. And then I'm just like, I actually just have a fundamental core truth inside of me, that I believe that all human life, all sentient life, including our planet, is valuable and precious and created in God's image. And I really genuinely believe that it is our job as stewards on this planet and of one another and of ourselves to protect each other, to create systems or dismantle systems. For me, it's more about creation than it is dismantling at this point, because I really don't, I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit of a nihilist at this point. but I also, like, the reason that I'm having this conversation with you even is the concept of third party, the concept of having something outside of the systems that we're being fed is really important to me. Like, the idea that we can imagine a reality where we don't have to just give up our power, our people power, to these institutions or these psychological warfare of keeping us separated from one another, and in this constant bilateral division of just like, this is what we stand for and this is what we stand for. And even though neither one of us stands for what we say we're standing for, we all stand for our donors, actually. Like, you know, that back and forth, I feel like, just keeps people in such a place of disempowerment, you know, because they're not educated about their choices. They're not aware of the fact that we can choose something different, and that we can really start to imagine the world that we would prefer to live in. And I think that that's, like you mentioned, Nina Simone, and like all of the organizers of that time, the Angela Davises of the world, and like all of these people who were envisioning and imagining as they were actively fighting things, you know what I mean? And I feel like we're just in another iteration of that in this moment. And so, yeah, I find it really important for us to imagine outside of what we've been given, you know?
Yeah, I was blessed to actually work with the great Arturo O'Farrill. In fact, we won a Grammy together a couple of years ago for Latin Jazz Orchestra. His father, Chico, of course, founder of Afro Latin Jazz, along with Dizzy Gillespie and a few others. And what they were fundamentally about was not just bringing people together at the deepest artistic level, but they were also about using their imagination to authorize a better future. So that, for example, in politics, if your only choice is between a bona fide gangster that's pushing the country toward the second civil war and a president leading the world toward World War III, that's Trump versus Biden. You've got to be able to use your imagination and empathy to conceive of a world beyond just Civil War II and World War III. And they said, well, those are the only choices we have. We know both of them are evil, but we have no other choice. You say, who says we don't have any other choice?
Who told you that?
You got to use your imagination, conceive of what things are different. In the 1850s, with Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, they had to choose between a liberal slaveholder and a conservative slaveholder. And of course, as black folk, they couldn't vote, but they became part of the Liberty Party. It was a third party because they refused to have to choose between two slaveholders. And that's crucial. And that Liberty Party, part of the abolitionist movement, it was a small number at that time, but it led toward what? The abolition of slavery. And everybody thought, well, you got the chance of a snowball and hell of overthrowing slavery. It's been in place for hundreds of years. That's true. Patriarchy been in place. Transphobia been in place. Homophobia been in place. A whole lot of ideologies, dehumanizing people been in place. Does that mean you don't imagine a different world and fight for it with every fiber of your being?
Amen.
Well, that's what